Okay, thank you.
He did this. Now we're good.
Now we're good. Okay. Now I will call the regional school committee to order at 6:38. And because we have a remote person present, right? Sarah,
Present.
Bridget,
Present.
Tillman,
Present.
Deb,
Present.
Irv,
Present.
Anna,
Present.
William,
Present.
Sarah Bass, Jennifer. Okay. Great.
And I will call the Amherst School Committee to order, taking attendance by roll. Jennifer? Thank you. Irv?
Present.
Deb?
Present.
Bridget?
Present.
And I, Sarah Marshall, I'm here.
And I will call the Pelham School Committee meeting to order. And we are all present.
Okay, so the first item on our agenda is a, nope, it's not.
It was.
It was, there it is. All right. A joint statement from the committees. So there was this, sorry, I'm not good at this, so I'm gonna apologize in advance. Trying to make this work. Okay. So this was a joint statement in regards to a letter we received. There has also been a rewrite that was posted. So we can read through this and make edits together. And go from there. Unless somebody else has a different suggestion. No? Yep, Anna?
So, I feel like this letter is a little too accepting of what happened and does not condemn the actions adequately. And it also does not adequately support the superintendent. And I think we should rewrite the letter. And I have submitted a rewrite draft for as an alternative option that comes out a little bit stronger. I think this letter needs to say two things. One, this kind of behavior is unacceptable. And two, we fully support the superintendent. Anything beyond that waters it down.
Jennifer?
Hi, so I drafted the first statement, and I wanted to give some just my thinking around that first statement, which is that one of the things I keep in the forefront of my mind, and this is something I have expressed directly to Dr. Z, is that I support her strongly and I want her to succeed, and I'm very aware of not falling into the unconditional support trap that I've seen past school committee members fall into with past superintendents. So I support Dr. Z, but also if decisions are made or if actions are taken that I think are problematic, I'm speaking for myself, I will call her out or call her in or bring them up. I won't support her unconditionally. I don't, and from what she has responded, my understanding is that's what she wants. So I don't want to fall into the unconditional support trap. I know that's not what anyone's saying, but that's one of the reasons that I worded the statement the way I did. So I do want to put out a statement of support for Dr. Z. Absolutely, we support her. And I think it's very important to say that this letter that we received, in addition to the document that had confidential information, is unacceptable, possibly illegal, although I didn't say that in the statement, and that we condemn the releasing of confidential information. That being said, the allegations in this letter were unspecific, and the letter was anonymous, and the allegations were not credible or specific in my opinion. So, but if we did receive complaints that were credible or specific or that we could follow up on, then I would take them seriously. As it is, I don't take these allegations seriously, but I would take criticisms and input seriously if I thought it was credible and specific. So, and I don't want to discourage people from contacting us. I don't want people to contact us anonymously, but I don't want to discourage people from giving us input because our job is to serve the public. And we support our superintendent. So I was trying to balance those two things. So I appreciate what Anna's saying, but that's where I'm coming from. Thank you.
Dr. Z?
So, good evening, everyone. From the time this letter came out, there's a couple of things that I've been wrestling with. One, the type of community that would accept someone taking someone's personal information and sharing it as such, and does that align to the values that I have, and does that reflect the entire community at Broad? And I do not think so. I think that this was an individual or group of individuals who decided to do something that they felt would have been detrimental to my career, to that of the employee and other employees referenced. I do not think, and I've had this conversation, as Jennifer said, with her, that I've ever presented as a person who does not want to be held accountable for my actions. However, I do need to state that I feel like at many times, as a committee or committees, you are holding me responsible for the actions of past individuals or the actions of what past committees did not do, and that is not fair to me as a professional. And so for me, if I have done something and there's questions that you have, I have never not answered, justified, or put forth an answer and engaged in conversation around such, nor am I afraid to do so, because that is what being a professional is. I'm not going to do everything correct. No part of life is that way. Where we learn from mistakes, we're open to those conversations. What I'm not open to is the fact that I have to then prove my worth because of what someone else did, versus coming in and creating the opportunity for me, or having the opportunity to do this in my way, make my mistakes and answer for them. And so I had this conversation before with Jennifer, and I said, fine, like I'm open to it. That is how I grow as a professional. If I did something that was not correct, and we've had those instances. What we're seeing here, and for me, I am not leaning into the gossip and the hearsay, because I have an open door policy. I've never not met with anyone. I've never not responded. Maybe not timely, because I get about 200 emails a day, but I always circle back and respond. What we're seeing here is also an issue of what are the changes that are being made that someone is not comfortable with because their comfort level has shifted and changed. And so for me, I too think that I am open to a conversation with anyone in this community about decisions that I have made or things that have happened in an effort to make sure that the children can prosper, that the system that we have is one where children benefit. That's what I was hired to do. I am not serving a community of adults. I am here to build a future for children, and they are at the forefront of what I do. But I ask that I am held accountable for my actions when engaging with the community and engaging with the committees, and not based on whatever past instances were missed.
Thank you. Irv?
So I really like both of these statements, and I wish that I would have had the opportunity to write one also, but I wasn't invited to. What Dr. Z says is quite true. She came in as our superintendent, and any person coming into any leadership role where an institution has been in business for as long as Amherst has, the leader is going to be coming into a situation, a environment, a background where the community has certain expectations of its leaders. All of the values that the district has are values that we still hold in the highest esteem. We still believe, yes, the confidentiality, especially of employee records, is something that is held sacred. We do believe that transparency in the administration is paramount. We do believe that open communication among the school committee and the school superintendent is really important. We do believe that information that comes to us is treated just as that information, because all information is in my mind neither negative or positive. It's information that one takes in to be able to make decisions going forward. As a result of this letter, and I've said this to Dr. Z, I am not discouraged by it. I am really disappointed that it had to come out in such a way. And it gave me pause when I read it, because it sounded as if the person and or persons had some difficulty in expressing their opinions and found it difficult to express their opinions in an open and honest way. I know Dr. Z has been meeting with people on a day-to-day basis and has an open door policy, but no matter when you're a leader in this kind of institution, no matter what you do, no matter how you try to cover all the bases, you're still dealing with human beings. Human beings are imperfect. They do not hear the same thing. They do not see the same thing. They do not understand that which you think they understand. So I look at this letter, as both letters, as an attempt to communicate what our values are, and it's very clear with both of them. But I do believe that the first one states our position really clearly and communicates to the public where we stand.
Tillman, did you have your hand up?
I just want to say that I like the rewrite. It's shorter and clearer. I would prefer that one.
Yep, Sarah?
With either version, we could, I'm looking at the sentences near the end about supporting Dr. Herman, and I think in either case, we could say that the school committees strongly support Dr. Herman's leadership and vision. We don't have to say full support, but it's more than just simply support. So the longer version just says support her leadership, and this one says full support. So to say strongly would be more forceful, but less than, under all circumstances.
Go ahead, Tillman.
Sorry, I have not seen anything that would not allow me to give full support to Dr. Herman. I don't understand why this is suddenly the point of discussion. We write here that we're not taking anything serious that was written in that letter, and nothing else has happened. I'm really confused why we're having this conversation.
Deb?
I'm okay with full support. I'm okay with that phrase. My question about the second version is the sentence that says, there are ways to address concerns that are transparent, accountable, and that aim to improve rather than destroy. I appreciate the sentiment of that, but if we say there are ways, then we should tell people what those ways are. And I wanted to, and so we could say, you can email us, but emails can be confidential too. I'm sorry, can be anonymous too. And I sort of wanted to stop short of saying, like, this is how you should contact us. Please don't do it anonymously. I don't know, I just wanted to stop short of that because, I don't know, as I said, I don't want to discourage anyone from contacting us in whatever way they feel comfortable doing. But again, because these allegations were anonymous and not detailed, and there's no way to follow up on them, that's why I find them to be not credible and not actionable. But I don't want to, I don't know, I stopped a little short of saying, express our disappointments in the action of the community member. I mean, I just didn't feel like that was, I think saying, like, releasing the confidential information is unacceptable. I thought it was the most important part. So I'm okay with saying full support, but I have questions about those other two elements.
So I don't go to my mailbox every day, and by the time I went to my mailbox, I suspected what that was in that letter, and I didn't open it. So I do not have the details, and I don't feel like I need to know the details of anything in it. If you think otherwise, please let me know. But I will state what I believe is the essence of these both messages, which is totally unacceptable to target and release employee information, period. And I see absolutely nothing in these very few months that Dr. Herman has been in the district that causes me any concern.
I feel the same. I think I prefer the second letter, the proposed rewrite. I think on all accounts, the letter and how it was presented was not a way to move forward, especially in a time where the community has asked for transparency and healing, and I feel Dr. Z has provided nothing short of that. So I am very comfortable with full support. As Tillman mentioned, I have not seen anything that would cause me to feel differently than that. And I think part of what I really appreciate in the proposed rewrite is the last sentence, that this kind of personal and unsubstantiated attack has no place in the district, the region, or anywhere. And I think if we are trying to move the needle on how people treat each other, this is a good way to do it. Because the letter was just wholly unacceptable in every way. Which does not say I don't want people to come and talk to us if they have thoughts or concerns. I welcome the discussion and the information, but I would like it to be in a way that comes with actual information. So I am happy to try and make this work for the while we do this, because I would like to both feel like that this is done at the end of the night, and then we do have the news here, so I would also like to send it out to all of the media outlets, as a press release first thing tomorrow morning. Bridget?
Yeah, I think there's things I like about both letters. I like the sentence in Jennifer's letter that says that Dr. Z's made decisions with students' safety and well-being at the forefront.
Yes.
But what I like better about the second letter is that we don't give a lot of room to a bully at best, right? And we have a problem with bullying in this district, and we know that sometimes the behavior of youth is modeled off the behavior of adults. And so it seemed to me like there are two important things to be very clear in the message that this is not acceptable. And secondly, we have a new superintendent who we are giving the space and the time to shape the district in her vision. I read the letter. I saw everything in it, and I'd heard some of these things from my constituents as well, and they were all things that I knew the backstory on and have no concerns whatsoever on. So I just felt like it's important to let the community know that we have trust and faith in the actions, and that this type of thing isn't going to get airtime from us.
Okay. Jennifer? I see your work.
So if I look at the first statement, that very last sentence, we are always open to engaging with members of the community about concerns, criticisms, and input. Can we fit that into the rewrite, maybe at the end of the second to last paragraph? And then I would feel okay about the rewrite. I want to make sure to say we want to hear from the community.
Yep.
I see nods. Thank you.
William?
On that last sentence, I was just going to say, I think we are always open to listening, but we don't always engage or can engage. And so I don't know if I necessarily agree with that last sentence.
Okay. So if it's all right with everyone, I'm going to unplug my computer from the screen, try to fit these things together while we talk about them, and then I'll plug it back in so we can see it all rather than my whole computer being on the big screen.
Irv? I was just waiting to be recognized.
Yes, Irv.
Thank you. When I received that letter in the mailbox, I mean, it was not something that I received letters and all the time, and some of them do not have return addresses to them, even from my own grandsons. And when and that's when they do write a letter, there's something that's really important that they need to talk to me about rather than emailing me. And I think that they don't email me because they don't want me to share it with their parents. Anyway, so I just opened it automatically and read it and was taken aback by it because I get emails all the time from constituents, people in the community, members of the school committee, school community. And, but this one was different in everything it said. But when I look at the letter that we're thinking about sending out, as long as we are saying the things in here that I believe are important, i.e., that we support Dr. Herman's leadership and vision. Some people might want to add something extra to that, but I don't know how that would carry any extra meaning for Dr. Herman. Secondly, the sentence that we also acknowledge, while acknowledging that members of our community may disagree with us, I think that that's important to say because this is Amherst. Everyone in Amherst has at least 4 or 5 different opinions, and they all disagree with each other. This is what we have. This is Amherst. It is the tradition of Amherst, and that will never change, nor do I want it to change. So I'm all right with that. We want to say strongly support, that's fine with me. But I definitely want to keep the sentence in there acknowledging that members of our school community may disagree with us.
I am going to ask William to chair for a moment so I can focus.
So I agree that it's good to acknowledge that or to recognize that we want people to feel like they can come to us with concerns. I think that by saying too much about it's okay to have it, acknowledging that community members may disagree, I don't want to promote the letter in any way because the letter was wholly unacceptable. I do want people to come to us when they have concerns. And in my draft, I do say, you know, there are better ways to do this. So if you have concerns, please give them to us, but do it in a way that is not anonymous and unaccountable. And I do understand that sometimes people don't feel comfortable personally coming forward, and they find it hard to do it with their name attached. But there are better ways to come to us without disclosing who you are. You can ask a friend to speak for you. You can send a letter that is less personal and less finger pointing in a way that has no evidence behind it. And I think that if you have a complaint, tell us your complaint, give us some evidence that your complaint is actually not just a gripe or a dislike of a particular individual, and give us something to investigate. But just a generalized complaint with no real substance to it, it's not helpful. And so language that sort of suggests that it was okay to be upset, in this particular instance, isn't helpful, I don't think. And so while I totally support the idea of saying, if you have concerns, please come to us. So the second part of that sentence where it says, can you just scroll down? We are always open to listen to members of the community or hearing concerns about and criticisms and input. I think we can work with that sentence. That's totally fine, but I think I would leave it at that and not include the first part of the sentence. That's good. Or sorry, the sentence before that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, almost. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just have to say this, and I don't know that it's countering anything that Anna just said, but I am not open to anonymous complaints. Come on, we're adults. You should be able to speak to if you're an employee, speak to your supervisor, speak to your principal, go up the chain with your complaints. They pertain to your workplace. If you're not getting anywhere, okay, come to us, but not anonymously. Not anonymously.
Irv?
You know, Sarah, it is a well-established practice in organizations that organizations have in various locations boxes for anonymous submissions by staff, etc. It is specifically done that way because sometimes employees may not feel safe in doing it in the kind of way you're talking about. Corporations, companies, public, non-profit organizations across the country have used that as a standard practice for years.
So I want to say that employees in the district have, to me, and if they're not sure, then we can work, and Seth, we could write this down, with them to know what are some communication channels. For example, members of the unions, we have joint labor management meetings monthly. So I have meetings tomorrow with every union representative. If they don't want to bring it directly, they can go through their unions to have the unions bring it up on our monthly meetings, and we can address it that way. That's one way. I've done listening sessions where employees have submitted their questions to the union leaders, and then the union leaders have asked me the questions in front of the employees, and I agreed to do that another round. We have a suggestion box online, and we're working to update our website. As you guys know, it's not the prettiest or the most feasible website. We're even willing, we can find a means, but there are means for individuals who have concerns to bring those concerns forward. What I think has become a practice in the districts, and I say districts, is the concern of retaliation. And so that's one of the things I want to say publicly. I don't have time to retaliate. This is not I don't. There's so many things that we have to fix that's not a priority for me personally or professionally. As a person, everyone has their lens that they walk through this life building and seeing. And because we disagree on something doesn't mean that I don't like you, or doesn't mean that I'm coming back to tell you something or to do something to you. That's not the person that I am. And so what individuals have to understand is whatever your experience has been in the past doesn't mean that that is your experience today in the present. And that's not me. So I don't feel like there should be a fear of retaliation. I've been working with individuals since I've gotten in here to address situations. Parents have brought them forward. Unions have brought them forward. Employees have brought them forward. And I've heard consistently, I have a fear of retaliation, right? And I'm like, that's not what and if it comes to you, then there's avenues that we can deal with that as well. And so for me, if this is what this individual felt because they felt like there was a retaliatory nature of something that was going to happen, I can assure you it's not. Because I say repeatedly, I'm going to offend somebody. People offend people all the time. The door is open, the conversations can happen. I also know that I am a direct person and I don't hide what I'm thinking. And so it's not something that people are accustomed to. So I think that there are avenues, and maybe that's one thing that we need to publicize as a district. What are your avenues to voice your concerns? And we can push that out. We can say, go through your union, go through the email, go through this, but this is how you voice your concerns.
Deb?
I was going to go in that kind of same direction for fear of introducing yet another approach to this. I like the statement that addresses the letter, decoupled with the idea of proper channels of communication. I think I like what Bridget said about giving it airtime and responding. Our response to the inappropriate letter is it's inappropriate, and then our response to any kind of concerns that proper avenues of communication are not available can be a separate statement, elaboration, presentation, forum, however you want to say it, but that's how I would prefer to address this.
Did you want to? You can. Okay, so I have merged them to the best of my ability. So all of the suggestions we have just made, I am happy to edit and update as we go along. So, Jennifer?
I can't see it. Could someone read? You don't have to read the paragraphs that were unchanged, but could someone read the paragraphs?
How about I email it to you? Oh, yep.
I don't like the second paragraph. I want to take the entire second paragraph out.
The second paragraph states, the school committees are committed to transparency and to governance that serves the public. We want to hear concerns from any community member, and we take all concerns seriously. However, given the accusations in this letter were not credible or specific, we do not intend to take any actions based on them. And you want to delete it?
I want to delete it. I especially want to delete the last sentence.
Because we may take an action on
No, because
action against the person.
Got it, Anna.
it gives too much attention, and it almost I know it doesn't say the letter is okay. I just
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I think that the phrase "we do not intend to take any action" is just soft, and I don't like it. I would like to say, and then I don't know if you can bring up Jennifer's letter, but that last sentence in the second to last paragraph, I think it is, somehow use that at the end.
Is it in there?
Can I read it?
Yeah, I don't. Can I?
What? Yeah. What would you like it to say? Do you want me to pull
No,
up?
I think there's too much of Jennifer's letter in here.
That's fine. I really.
And I think rather than try to start with Jennifer's letter and modify it, I would prefer, and this is just my personal opinion, and I'm totally open to other people's opinions, is I would prefer to take the second version, my letter, and add a couple sentences from Jennifer's letter. My biggest problem with Jennifer's letter is that it's way too long, it's not direct enough, and it starts to cloud the true importance of what we're trying to say, which is, don't do this. There's better ways to do this, and we support the superintendent. So that's just, I mean, I don't, when we're saying a whole bunch of extra things beyond that, it almost gives space to improper criticism. And I just don't want to do that.
Okay, here is the, Jennifer?
So,
Can you finish the discussion?
I would like to hear what other committee members think. I think so first of all, I think Anna and I are both clear on the don't do the releasing confidential information part. It seems like no one disagrees about that. But don't send us criticism and input in this way. People communicate in ways that they're comfortable with. And I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't want to discourage people from contacting us. We support the superintendent. Yes, I support the superintendent. I'm willing to say that the superintendent has my full support. But I also serve the public. We're elected by voters. Our job is to serve the public. So I want people to come to us with, I don't want to discourage anyone from contacting us with criticisms or complaints. I want to hear them. I might not always act on them. And it's funny, Anna, that you said that we do not intend to take any action is,
She's frozen.
I consider these allegations to be not credible, and I do not, we're not going to take any action based on them. I thought that was a strong statement. But as I said, if we received information, even if it were anonymous, that somehow was credible or more detailed or did provide some way to follow up on them, I might or would take them seriously. And sorry, just one more thing. The superintendent has said that she's not responsible for actions of past administrations, and I fully agree with that. And I'm not trying to imply or make her responsible for actions of past superintendents. I just, for myself, honestly, I have a little bit of residual trauma from past experiences on this committee with past superintendents, and so I'm trying not to repeat mistakes I've seen other school committee members make.
Margaret?
I guess what I would like to say after listening to all of the opinions, which there are many, that I would go with the second letter, but I would like to have some kind of follow-up communication, as Deb suggested, something about the ways that you can contact people and separate that from this.
And we're going to go with Irv first, and I'll come back to Anna. Irv?
What Jennifer said is saying something that's really important, and I just want to emphasize it a little more by illustration. Sarah Marshall, Bridget, Deb, and myself, and Jennifer ran for election to the Amherst School Committee. In running for that, we had to get our nomination papers signed by 50 different people. We had to knock on doors. Some of us stood at the dump to get signatures, or stood at the common to get signatures. But knocking on doors and meeting people, talking to them, there was for me, and still is, that open door. That is what is expected of me as an elected representative, that they can communicate with me without fear. And I want to keep that door open. I do not wish to close it. I consider it to be a privilege to do what I've done in terms of running for this office. And I want to make sure that the people who voted for me and gave me their confidence, that they know that my door, my email, and my residence is always open to them.
Anna?
I don't think that condemning this letter and throwing our support behind the superintendent in any way implies that we don't want to hear criticisms at all. I think that we need to come out strongly against this letter and not muddy the waters. And I do agree with Deb or Bridget, that sending out a follow-up, Margaret, somebody, sending up a follow-up statement providing legitimate avenues of criticism and addressing concerns is still appropriate. But to combine the two muddies the waters in a way that I think is ill-advised.
Sarah Marshall.
All right. I would propose
You can stop me.
adding 2 sentences from the longer letter to the very end of this one. Okay? Just to add, the school committees are committed to transparency and to governance that serves the public. We want to hear concerns from any community members, and we take all concerns seriously. The end. It just leaves the door open to,
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually, oh, is that right?
No, go ahead.
Sure. So I think adding those 2 at the end is great, and then I also think, but we should remove the second half of that paragraph. There are ways to address the concerns that are accountable, transparent, and aim to improve rather than destroy. Right? If we're not talking like, is that the right one?
And just take the whole sentence out because it doesn't.
I think
I don't want to
acknowledging-
leave. We acknowledge that change can be uncomfortable by itself.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Sorry, just gotta find the right. So
that's the first letter.
yes, wasn't your sentence that 2
Yes,
sentences from the first letter?
go up. It's the first 2 lines that you have crossed off.
These 2.
Just put those at the end. That's what I'm suggesting.
Here at the end?
Well, a separate paragraph, probably.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Tillman.
I just want to point out the obvious flaw that we can't say that we take all concerns seriously if we dismiss the concerns raised in this format that was sent to us.
How about we want to hear concerns from any community member?
Period.
Period. Done.
I make a motion to accept this for the region to be put out.
Second.
Any further discussion? Jennifer?
Just for my benefit and for others who are watching, could someone just read it?
Yes.
Good idea.
Early last week, several members of the Amherst, Pelham, and regional school committees received an anonymous letter via postal mail in an envelope with no return address. Included with the letter was a document that included the home address and social security number of a district staff member. The letter contained a number of allegations implying misconduct by the superintendent. The allegations were not specific, contained no details, and the letter made no mention of evidence or any way to follow up on allegations. The letter was not signed. We want to strongly state, in no uncertain terms, that the disclosing of confidential information of a district member is unacceptable. District staff member is unacceptable. This matter has been referred to the Amherst Police Department for investigation. In addition, we want to clearly express our disappointment in the actions of this community member. We acknowledge that change can be uncomfortable, but there are ways to address concerns that are transparent, accountable, and that aim to improve rather than destroy. The school committee gives full support to Dr. Herman and her leadership and vision. This kind of personal and unsubstantiated attacks has no place in the district or region or anywhere. School committees are committed to transparency and governance that serves the public. We want to hear the concerns from community members. Dylan?
Sorry, as the only foreigner here and not sure about grammar, shouldn't this be member instead of members at the very end?
From any community member. Chip? Bridget?
Feel like those two sentences would be better at the end of the paragraph that says in addition, starts with in addition, the second to last, because I still want to stop and finish with the point that we're
Yes.
not in favor of unsubstantiated attacks.
I like that.
You mean you want to end the statement with that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Much better.
Okay.
Do you
There's a
need to,
grammatical error in there.
Oh, yeah.
somewhere.
Tell me. I'm happy to fix it.
I'm not sure, but
do Grammarly.
the grammar, is it in no uncertain terms is this acceptable wouldn't that be the sentence? Because what we're saying here, in no uncertain terms is this unacceptable.
This is acceptable, right?
In no uncertain terms.
No. We want to strongly state in no uncertain terms that the disclosing of confidential information is unacceptable.
Is
This is correct.
acceptable.
Is
It should
unacceptable.
be,
The disclosing of confidential information is unacceptable.
No,
Right, but
you said we want to strongly state in no uncertain terms that disclosing of confidential information of a district staff member is acceptable, like you don't accept it.
Then-
You're
No,
saying
no.
No.
Okay,
No.
no, you,
Can-
then
It's
you-
unacceptable.
we want to be,
You take out in no uncertain terms, just, we want to strongly state that the disclosing of information is
yeah, there you
unacceptable.
go.
Get rid of the
Much better.
The no uncertain terms is confusing, but
Yeah,
we can take
remove
it out.
that.
Emphatically.
Strongly.
Strongly state. Okay, it's redundant, it's fine.
This is really good, you know. It's a letter writing by committee.
does William have to accept all that as a friendly amendment?
There are no friendly amendments, we learned that.
What, really? They're,
Always unfriendly.
They're all-
I'm talking about my letter.
But I passed the motion to, and he seconded the motion to pass this, so I think it's all good.
Okay.
This is still important.
Okay. Sarah,
aye.
Bridget,
Aye.
Tillman,
Aye.
Deb,
Aye.
Irv,
Aye.
Anna,
Aye.
Anna,
That's what I
Aye.
William,
Aye.
Jennifer,
Yes.
and Sarah Beth. Yes, this is approved unanimously by the Regional School Committee.
So I make a motion to pass the same thing for Pelham.
Second. All those in favor? Sarah Bess?
Nope, I mean, yes.
What?
I am
Yes.
William? Margaret, yes.
All right. I will move that we approve this statement shown on the screen for Amherst School Committee. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll give that to Irv. All right. Jennifer, how do you vote?
Yes.
Irv?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. I will have a final version that can be put out. Okay, great. Thank you all very much.
Can I just make one statement?
Yep.
I just want to apologize for how long it took the school committee to get this notice out. I wish we could work faster due to the need to approve the letter from all of us and to make edits and do everything else. We did it as fast as we could. And we're, we will try to make the process a little faster in the future, but don't let this signify a lack of interest or a lack of support by the school committee member. We are fully committed and we feel very strongly about this, and so we just apologize for the delay.
I would also like to add that part of the reason for waiting for this was because I felt it was stronger coming from everybody together, so we all got to, have our voice and put our name on it. So that is part of why we waited till today. So, okay.
I think I need to adjourn the Amherst
Oh,
School
yep,
Committee.
you're
All right, so I move to adjourn Amherst School Committee. Second? Thank you. Jennifer? Irv?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Thank you.
I move to adjourn the Pelham School Committee.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you.
I call to order Union 26.
Yes,
Yes.
Right?
that's what the.
Sarah Marshall,
Here.
Bridget,
Here. Here?
Irv,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay.
William, I'm here, and Sarah Bess. Oh, and but you too, though.
Margaret's
I said yes, I'm
Oh, you
present.
didn't? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. And Margaret.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So now Union 26 is in session at 7:28.
Okay. So I will move the Amherst Pelham Regional School Committee will now consider entering an executive session in accordance with Open Meeting Law MAGLC 30A, Section 21A, to conduct strategy sessions and preparations for negotiations with non-union personnel, Superintendent Dr. E. Ziamara Herman, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body, and the chair so declares, and I do declare, with the intent to return to open session.
The union.
We need a second.
Oh, sorry. Do we have to
Second.
vote on that?
Someone did second.
Was that you, Jennifer? Did you second it? Okay, thank you. Sarah Marshall?
Yes.
Bridget?
Do we just yes or no if there's no chance for comment?
I think we yes or no.
You can say you're not here, or
Yeah.
You're
I'm
absent.
gonna-
abstain.
I'm
You
gonna
can
s-
abstain.
I'm gonna abstain. I feel like there's a lot of the public here. I wonder if we could wait.
I don't think it should take us very long. Tillman?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Irv?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
William?
yes.
Sarah Beth, yes. And Jennifer? Okay. The region is in executive session.
The Union 26 School Committee will now consider entering executive session in accordance with open meeting laws MAGLC 30A, Section 21A, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel. Superintendent Dr. My mind went blank.
Ziamara Herman?
Ziamara Herman, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions to contract negotiations with non-union personnel in an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares. I do declare, with no intent to return to open session.
Second.
Sarah Marshall,
Yes.
Bridget,
I'm abstaining.
Margaret,
Yes.
Irv,
Yes.
William, yes,
Sarah Beth, yes.
Sarah Bess.
Yes.
So we are in executive session now.
All right.